The Ancient Miss Transmigrates into a CEO's Wife Chapter 2. At 2 o'clock in the afternoon, Aunt Song knocked on Shen Yin's door, knocking for a good while before Shen Yin groggily opened the door. "Sorry, I fell asleep," Shen Yin rubbed her eyes to wake up. These words frightened Aunt Song again, and she forgot what she was knocking on the door for. She stood there in a daze for a few seconds before remembering. "Madam, your brother is waiting for you downstairs. You need to go see the doctor today." As Aunt Song spoke, she glanced at the room and noticed it was tidier than usual. After Aunt Song left, Shen Yin contemplated for a moment. The doctor was probably Dasheng's physician. Could it be that she had some incurable illness, so she went to seek death? Shen Yin went to the wardrobe, unsure of what to wear. She tried hard to remember the outfits worn by women on TV. She took off the dress she had worn yesterday, put on a bra and white shirt, black skinny jeans, then put on a khaki coat before going downstairs. As soon as she got downstairs, she saw the brother Aunt Song had mentioned. Shen Yin didn't know what the previous Shen Yin was like, so she didn't dare greet him first just to be safe. "You're down. Let's go," Shen LV said expressionlessly. Shen Yin followed behind Shen LV, intending to head out. Madam, change your shoes," Aunt Song called out from behind. Shen Yin looked at her slippers. She had seen shoes on TV that were all kept in shoe cabinets by the door, but there was no cabinet near the front door here. She didn't see any shoes in her room either. However, there was a small door beside the main door. Shen Yin carefully opened it, and indeed, inside were many shoes. It seemed this family was very wealthy to have a dedicated shoe room. Shen Yin picked a pair of white high heels to put on before leaving the shoe room. "Didn't you always dislike high heels before?" Shen LV asked. In Shen LV's impression, Shen Yin never wore high heels. At 168 centimeters tall, once Shen Yin put on high heels, she was immediately 175 centimeters. High heels didn't really suit her. "I felt like it," Shen Yin replied. Before Shen Yin came to this place from Dasheng, women in Dasheng wore shoes with wooden heels. So when she was picking shoes earlier, she chose a high-heeled pair. Shen Yin followed Shen LV into the car. She had seen this kind of car on TV that could go very fast and carry several people. Sitting in the back seat, Shen Yin looked around eagerly. As the car drove along, Shen Yin gained new insights. This car was much faster and more stable than the carriages of Dasheng dynasty, without any bumps. Shen Yin couldn't help but marvel at the advanced technology of this era. Outside the car windows were tall buildings and many cars filling the wide roads. She didn't know if she could return to Dasheng. If not, she wanted to live in this era and would need to learn many things, like driving this car. As he drove, Shen LV observed Shen Yin from the rearview mirror in the top right corner. He didn't dare speak much, afraid of agitating her. The car stopped in an underground parking lot beneath a tall building. After parking, Shen LV got out and opened the rear door. "Ancestors. Now you won't even open a car door yourself," Shen LV said, looking helpless. Shen Yin got out of the car and followed Shen LV towards the elevator entrance. Arriving at the elevator, Shen LV glanced at Shen Yin's outfit today, which finally resembled her pre-wedding style. Ever since marrying, Shen Yin had let herself go, not to mention after getting pregnant. She hardly looked like a woman anymore. Shen LV knew Shen Yin resented him for forcing her to marry Xu Shuhei together with her father, and for knowing her father had drugged her on their wedding night but not telling her. In the elevator, Shen Yin was still observing these modern things while Shen LV observed her. He could clearly sense Shen Yin's animosity wasn't as heavy today. She didn't glare at him or argue with him. 48th floor counseling office. Seeing these 5 words, Shen Yin was a little confused. Wasn't it said they were seeing a doctor, so why were they here? It seemed she still didn't understand this era. She must watch more TV when she gets back to gain knowledge. "Go into this room. I'll wait out here for you. Come out when you're done," Shen LV said before sitting on a chair outside the door, crossing his legs and taking out his phone. That morning by the bedside, Shen Yin had seen her own mobile phone and knew it would be very convenient for communicating with people far away, but she didn't really know how to use it. So instead of going straight into the room, she stood by Shen LV's side watching him play on his phone. "Madam, you standing here scared me to death. Why don't you go in?" Shen LV immediately covered his phone. He was instantaneously a little guilty. Did you see anything? Shen LB asked again. He was afraid Shen Yin had seen him chatting with several women. Shen Yin didn't reply but turned and entered the room. Shen Yin tried her best not to look around and kept reminding herself that this wasn't dashing. Don't speak, or you'll easily give yourself away. She did her utmost to conceal her nervousness, but Ji Qingyan still noticed. We meet again, Miss Shen. The corners of Ji Qingyan's mouth turned up slightly as she tried to appear gentler. I feel Miss Shen is in much better condition today, so much better than last time. Have you come to terms with some things? Ji Qingyan asked again. Xu Shuhei realized Shen Yin needed to see a psychologist a month after Xu Yunzheng was born. At first he just noticed Shen Yin was unhappy, often crying alone and prone to throwing things. Later he discovered Shen Yin was extremely averse to Zhengzheng, in an unhealthy way. So Xu Shuhei contacted Shen Yin's father to ask why she detested Zhengzheng so much, wondering if she disliked having a child. Upon hearing this, the Shen family was so frightened they immediately brought Shen Yin back home to see a psychologist. The Shen family brought Shen Yin here once a month, except the first time when Shen Yin's father accompanied her. All other times it was the family driver who picked her up and dropped her off. Ji Qingyan had seen Shen Yin over 20 times. Shen Yin was resistant towards Ji Qingyan at first, then resigned and compromised. It wasn't until a year ago that Shen Yin first spoke. Ji Qingyan had only met Shen Yin's father once, when he told her Shen Yin's mind went abnormal after giving birth. She initially thought it was simply postpartum depression. But Shen Yin didn't speak for a whole year, and Ji Qingyan was about to give up, feeling her presence was just to offer some encouraging words. A year of companionship can truly move someone. Shen Yin said, I don't like men. My father forced me to marry a man. Only then did Ji Qingyan have a sudden realization. So Shen Yin was a lesbian. She slowly counseled her and conducted psychological treatment. Shen Yin gradually improved as she spoke more and more. For instance, Shen Yin said she liked a woman and they were about to be together when Shen Yin's father found out. With his traditional, conservative beliefs, he absolutely refused to agree. So he schemed for ways to prevent it. In the end, he found a decent man to marry her off to. If word got out that a daughter of the prestigious Shen family of Rong City was a lesbian, how would Shen Yin's father keep face? Afterwards, afraid Shen Yin would disobey, her father drugged her on her wedding night and had Shen LB get some friends to get Xu Shuhei drunk. And so Zhengzheng was conceived. When Ji Qingyan learned the full reasons, she counseled Shen Yin on fundamental issues and provided psychological treatment. The effects gradually improved, though seemed to regress slightly the last 2 times. Ji Qingyan felt Shen Yin's condition today was truly better, so she asked again, Miss Shen, how have you been feeling lately? Hearing the repeated questioning, Shen Yin finally responded, all right. Next, just like before, I'll ask questions and you answer them, said Ji Qingyan. Hearing to answer questions like before, Shen Yin grew nervous. After all, she wasn't the real Shen Yin and knew nothing. What could she do? She tried hard to conceal her anxiety, but Ji Qingyan still noticed. Don't be nervous, Miss Shen. The questions will be like before, not difficult. Just answer according to your own thoughts. I'm going to start asking now, said Ji Qingyan. Shen Yin nodded in agreement. What does Miss Shen enjoy doing lately? Shen Yin contemplated. She didn't know what the previous Shen Yin liked doing, but having watched TV all of last night until now, she answered that she enjoyed watching TV. Hearing this reply astonished Ji Qingyan. Shen Yin's previous responses were always that there was nothing she enjoyed. What programs does Miss Shen watch? Ji Qingyan asked again. Look at everything. So Miss Shen, have you opened up now and let go of that girl? When Shen Yin heard these words, she obtained a lot of information. It turned out the original Shen Yin had someone she liked, and it was even another woman. This was a bit beyond Shen Yin's cognitive range. There were men in the Dasheng dynasty who liked other men, but she had never heard of women liking other women. Shen Yin was still digesting this issue and didn't hear what Ji Qingyan said next. In Ji Qingyan's eyes, Shen Yin was still contemplating this problem. Let me put it another way, do you have hope for your future life? Do you want to live a normal life? Ji Qingyan kept observing Shen Yin's facial expressions. I want to live a normal life. Shen Yin replied. Ji Qingyan already felt victory was right in front of her. She asked some more questions before ending the questioning. Shen Yin's performance this time made Ji Qingyan feel like her condition was slowly improving. Next she did some other psychological treatments before ending the session. Ji Qingyan decided to meet Shen Yin's family this time. So she escorted Shen Yin to the door. At the door, Shen LB was playing games on his phone. Seeing the door open, he immediately stood up. "Are you Shen Yin's?" Ji Qingyan paused for a moment to avoid embarrassment from asking the wrong thing, so she only asked half the question. When Shen LB saw Ji Qingyan, he instantly felt this trip hadn't been a waste of time. He really liked beautiful women. "Hello, I'm Shen LB, her older brother," he said, stretching out his hand to shake hers. "What do I call you?" Shen LB asked again. "Ji Qingyan." "Dr. Ji. I'd like to ask about my sister's condition," Shen LB said while looking at Ji Qingyan's face. Ji Qingyan felt a little flustered by his gaze. Shen LB's eyes were too ill-intentioned. She was thinking about how to make her words sound more professional. "Dr. Ji, how about this? I also have something to do later, could I add your WeChat? We can talk about Shen Yin's matters tonight." Shen LB took out his phone and opened up the scan code function. Although Ji Qingyan didn't want to add Shen LB, he was still a patient's family member asking about conditions, so she couldn't refuse. She opened up her QR code. Shen Yin didn't know what they were doing. She only knew that cell phones could make transmitting messages more convenient. It seemed that when she returned, she would have to thoroughly research cell phones and watch more TV.